Grant Allen eyed the horse preparing to race the flat stretch of land in front of him. Trappers and natives had gathered in a line along the raceway, calling wagers up and down the row. There weren't as many men now as there had been a couple weeks ago, during the busiest part of the rendezvous. But he still had to move his gaze slowly as he studied each fellow, taking in his profile, his height, the width of his shoulders. If only Grant had a better idea of what his brother looked like now that Will had grown to manhood. He'd finally found the Sheldon family, who'd taken Will in as a boy after their parents died. But talking with Sam Sheldon hadn't helped as much as Grant had hoped. He'd only said that Will was about the same height as Grant, maybe an inch or two shorter, same color hair, nay, a bit lighter. Not quite as filled out, though now that Will had come west and lived a year in these mountains, he might be more so. And now that Grant had spent a month in this western territory and seen the horde of trappers, he had a feeling there might be more changes to his brother's appearance. Did he wear an overgrown beard like nearly every other white man at the rendezvous? Or, at 20 years old, would Will be able to grow much more than scruff? Grant had shaved every day by that age, but more because his wife Gloria liked a smooth chin than any other reason. "Hiya, Smiles." The voice barely penetrated his thoughts, especially with that ridiculous nickname. Only when the young trapper nudged Grant's arm did he pull completely out of his ponderings to glance at the man. Grant spared a nod, then turned back toward the raceway. This fellow had been one of the first in line to trade when Grant rode in with the supply wagons. Unfortunately, the young man's furs had been poor quality, so he'd not received as many supplies in return as he'd expected. Since then, they'd passed each other several times, and the man had somehow dubbed him with the absurd handle of Smiles, which made Grant want to not smile all the more. The young trapper gestured toward the horses. "Already placed your bet?" Grant shook his head. "Not much of a gambler."